found myself wishing I was an artist rather than a weekend writer. Inspired perhaps by Marc Chagall, I would paint 3 canvases to make my point, all of a man riding a horse. The first would be a tiny man atop a giant horse. The second would be a giant man atop a tiny horse. And the third would be a man and a horse of equal size. In the first scenario, the horse would be too strong and too uncontrollable for the man. The second would be equally unsuccessful, for a tiny horse can't move with a giant man weighing him down. But the third match would be perfect, with the man and the horse able to move successfully in concert. The man represents intellect. The horse represents emotion. Both need to be equally balanced for any leader to succeed. The best combination, I've learned, comes from partnership, where 2 people balance each other, constantly reminding the other of the need to keep the conscious and unconscious in harmony to make each other smarter and each other better. Since I am not a painter, I came upon a different way to answer those questions in a book. Start with a look back at my time with Frank Wells, and then go to work and find some other partnerships that succeeded. I do some research, I make a list, I go talk to these partners, and hopefully learn more about how people work together. Turns out the list was easier to create than I first thought. The most successful and well-respected investor in the world, Warren Buffett, has a partner, Charlie Munger. The most successful figure to come out of the computer revolution, Bill Gates, famously worked with partners at Microsoft, and now in his new job, saving the world, quite literally, with his foundation, he has perhaps his best partner yet, his wife Melinda. In Hollywood, you'd be hard-pressed to find a more successful or well-liked movie and television production company than Imagine Entertainment, run by partners Brian Grazer and Ron Howard, who've won multiple Academy Awards and produced and directed dozens of movies and television series. One of the biggest retail chains in the United States, Home Depot, was started by a pair of visionaries, Bernie Marcus and Arthur Blank. In fashion, the great designer Valentino spent half a century atop his world, flanked by an amazing partner, a man named Giancarlo Giammetti. In Los Angeles, among the most well-known and respected restaurant owners in town are a pair of chefs, Susan Feniger and Mary Sue Milliken, who've shown that despite the old saying, there is in fact room for 2 cooks in the kitchen. In finance, a company run by my childhood friend John Angelo and his partner Michael Gordon has been successful for decades, managing billions of dollars, not only surviving the financial meltdown, but growing during it. Partnership goes beyond the traditional definition of business as well. In sports, the most successful baseball manager of the last half-century, Joe Torre, won his 4 World Series titles with a partner by his side, a man Yankee fans know well, his bench coach, Don Zimmer. And even the best ongoing party of the last 50 years, the Studio 54 Dance Club in New York, was run by partners Ian Schrager and the late Steve Rubell, who shared not only enormous success, but for a year, a jail cell. Writing the book required me to spend a lot of time with these people, interviewing them about their partnerships. I started the project while buying the baseball card company Topps, making a television show, working on movie projects, advising my 3 sons on 30 different projects when they let me, and being an entrepreneur. So Jane, my wife of 43 years, suggested I politely exit the project and stop driving myself crazy. It served as a first good lesson about partnerships. Always find a partner who's not afraid to tell you what they think. She was half right on this one. I started writing and stopped thinking about why I didn't have the time. Once I did that, I began to realize more and more that this project was not only interesting, but important and timely. If there's a single central story to be written about business in the 21st century, it is, sadly and regrettably, a story dominated by a handful of individuals who infected the economy with deceit.